Team Edgar community, excited to be back with George today from Taxhub. And we're going to go into a little bit about small business marketing and how he uses these different things in social media in order to get the word out about his company. So I'll let George introduce himself first, and then we'll get into the good stuff. So George, go right ahead.
Hi, thanks for having me. So what we have is a virtual CPA platform where we provide access to CPA level access to a class of small business person that had previously kind of been overlooked and hadn't been able to get that kind of expertise. So we've created just an online platform and community where small business people like freelancers, solopreneurs, side gear type people can just start a relationship with a CPA and get CPA tax and business planning advice. It's called Taxhub, and we launched about 3 years ago. We're doubling in revenue every year. We have over 75% customer retention rate. And it just works out great for a lot of people that normally couldn't afford to go to like a CPA firm or have bad experiences at like an H&R Block or something. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's really fascinating, especially this idea of the retention rate being at 75%, because I feel like in order to get that, you guys must do a lot of work to build trust with your clients. And that's one thing we love to talk about on social media as well. In order to get and retain a customer, that trust factor is so important. So do you have anything that you think really goes into having this retention rate be so high for your industry, and how you build that trust in the relationships that your CPAs have with their clients?
Yeah, that was when we first launched 3 years ago, 3 tax seasons ago. That was really the huge hurdle that we had to overcome. I mean, when you're working with a CPA, you're sharing very intimate details about your financial life. You're sharing all your social security number and sometimes bank accounts and things like that. So as an unknown brand, that was a huge hurdle for us. We had to find a way to overcome that. And really it was tough. We had to just completely overserve our clients. And then every customer that we had to ask for a review, and we had to ask it in an organic way rather than doing it like on an automated platform. And after the first couple of tax seasons, we started getting more and more reviews. I think we're up to like across all platforms, we're probably over 100 reviews. They're 99% positive. I mean, you're always going to get somebody who is upset or something, but yeah, that was probably the most effort that we put into social media marketing, is just getting that validation from reviews. So that was a huge part for us.
That makes a lot of sense. I feel like the idea of social proof and other people actually giving their go ahead and word of mouth marketing is one of the best ways to build trust fastest. So that makes a ton of sense. So I would love to hear a little bit about when you were starting your business. What were some of the biggest struggles and hurdles that you guys ran into? And how did you actually find the way to push through those and stay consistently going towards your goal so that you could get to the amazing spot you guys are at now?
Well, like I mentioned before, the trust was,
Mm-hmm.
and the social media validation was a big hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
I think just getting the word out there. I think when people think of working with a CPA, the standard mentality is, oh, I can't even talk to a CPA for less than like $1,000 or something. So getting the word out there that we existed, and we've created this platform to where small business people can actually interact and work with the CPA. Just getting the word out there. I think that was another big hurdle. And we tried pay-per-click and a lot of stuff, and we didn't really have a lot of success with like pay-per-click advertising. I think so. We put a lot of our efforts into social media and just creating mostly Facebook, because
Mm.
Facebook allows for reviews. So, and like I said before, we had to establish that trust. So we just, yeah, put a lot of our effort into Facebook. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really a smart thing to make sure that you're going towards the platform that's going to help you the most and not spreading yourself too thin, like not feeling like you have to be on Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn as much as you are on Facebook, because Facebook has the features and that's where your clientele are the most. So if you guys out there feel like you have to have a presence everywhere and go all in, take this advice on the fact that, hey, look at the platform that has the features and has your community members on it and start there. Build your strongest foundation there. And of course, you have the opportunity to branch out otherwise. But it's super exciting to hear that you were able to really zone in on that one platform that was going to support you the most. So I know that CPA and tax stuff, when I hear anything with numbers, I'm a much more verbally oriented person. My eyes kind of glaze over. So when it comes to actually creating like social media posts and actually getting stuff out there, do you have any tips for how you make this interesting and fun for people to actually consume your content?
I mean, with taxes, it's like you said, it's not the sexiest, most exciting subject. So it's harder to get people to interact with our type of content. I think when there's the aspect to where we sometimes put out posts that tend to be political, because taxes are obviously a political subject. We see that those posts do get a lot more attention.
Mm.
But we try and stay neutral. I think people's hatred of paying taxes and thinking the government is stealing their money and wasting it. That's one type of subject matter that we do get a lot of interaction with. But we also try and stay neutral politically. We don't try and lean to the left or right. Right. I think that's important for a brand, especially a tax brand that has to do that our product is political. So yeah, that's kind of a lot of it. We try to do like informational type posts
Mm-hmm.
that help people, where we show them how, like, forming an S corporation and saving money on self-employment taxes, where like case studies where we show how we've saved customers thousands of dollars just by structuring them properly. So though we kind of try to stick to those two realms, just informational and a little bit political, to try and stir up a little bit of emotion.
Yeah,
But
this idea
yeah.
of emotion on social media is definitely the way to go. And if you're not a brand who has a political affiliation with your services, like perhaps, taxes fit into that. If you're not someone who has that, think about other things that might polarize people. And it's okay to go ahead and repel the people who don't agree with you, because your goal on social media is to build a tight community who actually wants to talk about the same things and who actually wants to get into these really deep discussions on something. So I think it's really cool to put yourself out there fully in that way, and to get that emotional charge going, because that is what people want to interact with and that is what people want that clarity on. So I think that's a really cool idea there. And of course, informational posts are always what people are on social for, is to be educated, to be entertained in that space. So that's a really great strategy for a brand to use on social. So I would love just to end here with a little bit of your story on how you guys came up with this idea. What's the origin story of Taxhub and how you kind of got the motivation to get started building your own business?
Sure. I think I was living in New York at the time. It was in like it was 2014, 15. The Web 2.0 movement had just started to take off. Uh, there were certain other industries that were converting to this hybrid method where you can combine the best of working with an actual person, yet doing it virtually and having the convenience and, I guess, low overhead of doing it. And it just hadn't happened in the tax industry. There really wasn't anybody doing it. So I had a friend that was in programming. I had another CPA there in New York. that kind of believed in the idea as well, and we just kind of bootstrapped it in our spare time at nights and on weekends. Came up with a good brand. We went through the naming process, the branding process, got connected with, in New York, it's so easy to get connected with creative talent. So we had somebody that was in the New York advertising world, and she helped us out a lot. And we just it just brewed over a year. It took us about a year to get the website launched. And then, of course, when you start a business, you think it's just going to blow up and everything is just going to be so easy. But of course it's not. We had the hurdle of getting people to give us their information for an unknown brand, which was really hard. That's no longer an issue for us because we have the validation. Now we're just trying to spread the word. But yeah, so it took us about a year to create the brand and get the technology developed. And then we launched and slowly started to grow. The second and third year is when we started to get some real traction. So yeah, we're just hoping to continue the growth.
Oh, I love that. Just identifying something that you see no one else fixing. What's that pain point that people have that you see no one doing anything about, and you can be the one to create that space. That's such an inspirational kind of idea to start a business. I love that so much. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story and your tips with us today. This was a wealth of information. And guys, if you want to get in touch, we'll put the link in our video description here, where you can get in touch with George in the future if you want. And thanks so much for your time today, George.
And thank you for having me. And just a quick plug, you can go to our homepage and schedule a free 5-minute CPA call.
Cool.
If you just have one or some simple question and need some help, go to our homepage and schedule a call and we can help you out.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks a lot.